and that you had a good day. So I trust that you had a good afternoon. All right. So now for our grade 2 English lesson, we are going to be doing prepositions, right? So we're going to be doing prepositions. It's going to be for our grade 2 English or language arts lesson, right? All right, so before we start, you are going to the aplusstudents.ca. So you're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged into aplusstudents.ca, then you are going to log in with your username as well as your password. All right, so once you've logged in with your username as well as your password, and then you're going to choose the subject of language arts, which is English, right? And then we go to grade 2. All right, so once we have logged in, selected the subject of language arts, grade 2, and then you're going to scroll down up until you get to prepositions. So the chapter for today, or our focus chapter, is on prepositions. All right, so once we are in the chapter of prepositions, the lessons that we are going to be focusing on today is to select the best preposition to match the picture and select the best preposition to complete the sentence. Right, so that is going to be the two focus lessons under the chapter of prepositions. All right, so let's start. So we're going to the first lesson, which says select the best preposition to match the picture. All right, so before we go on to matching the pictures, right, or the base preposition to the picture, let us first find out what a preposition is, right? So some of the words, right, will tell where something is or where something happens. So some words will either tell us where something is or where things happen or something happens, right? Like, for example, the cat is under the bed, right? So under, it tells us where the cat is, right? She jumps on the bed, right? So it tells us where or what basically happened. So she jumped on the bed, right? So it tells us where something happens. And a few examples, right, of basically prepositions or words that either tells us where something is or where something happens, we can then use words like either above, behind, beside, between, by, in front of, inside, next to, on, outside, and under, right? So these are but common prepositions or examples of prepositions that we can basically use, right? The fact that you are logged in and you are listening, right? You are either probably sitting in front of a laptop, right? So which means that it shows a form of preposition. It shows where something is or it shows where someone is. So you are sitting in front of your laptop, right? Or your laptop is in front of you, right? It shows where something is. Or you can say you have your phone in your hand, right? You are maybe sitting on the chair or on the bed. So maybe you can say your slippers, your bed slippers are under your bed, right? So words like under, before, on top, in front of, in, right? Those are all examples of prepositions, and those are words that tell us where something is or it tells us where something happens, right? So prepositions is things that we do basically in our everyday life, right? The fact that you are sitting down it means that you're either sitting on a chair, or you're sitting on the floor, or you're sitting on the bed, or in bed, right? In, on, in front of, those are prepositions, and they tell us where something is, or it tells us where something happens. Okay, so those are prepositions. So prepositions. Now, we need to specifically look at the picture, right? And we need to select the best preposition to match the specific picture. It says complete the sentence to match the picture. So the sentence says, let's look at okay, there it is. The fish are the boat. So we need to basically say where something is, or where the fish are, in relation to the boat, right? So here we have the boat, and here at the bottom we have the fish, right? So we can then maybe say that the fish is under the boat, right? Because here we have the boat, and then the fish is in the water, which is basically under the boat. So we can say under. So the fish are under the boat. So under is a preposition which shows or tells us where the fish are, or where the fish is. All right. Okay, so now we need to look at the next picture also. The fruit is where the box, right? We need to say where specifically the fruit is in relation to the box. So where is the fruit? So the bananas is, so we can either say the bananas are in the box, or we can say the bananas are inside the box, right? So for now, let's just say the bananas are in the box. So in is the preposition that tells us where the bananas are, or the fruit is, right? All right, so we said in, but we can also say inside. So the fruit is inside the box, or the fruit is in the box, right? Because that is basically showing the position, or it shows us where the fruit basically is, or the fruit are. So there we have the box, and then all the fruit are inside of the box, or in the box, right? Oopsie, sorry. All right, now another picture, right? It's a little boy, he's in bed, and then we have his toys, and we see a box, a lamp, a clock, right? And a book. The light is where the bed. We need to say where specifically the light is in relation to his bed. So here we see his bed, and there we have the light or the lamp, right? So if we were to say where the light is in relation to his bed, then we can say his light is by the bed, right? It's by the bed, and he is able to read because the light is shining, or giving him light to basically read a book that time of the night. So the light is by the bed, right? So by is the preposition that tells us where the light is. All right, let's go next. We have an ice cream store, two people sitting in front of the ice cream store having ice cream, and we see cars, right? The people sit where the store, right? So we have the ice cream store, and then we see people sitting. So the people are sitting where the ice cream store. right? So we can say that they're sitting in front of, oopsie. So in front of, so they're sitting in front of the store, right? Or outside the store, right? So we can say outside or we can say inside, right? So inside, of course, shows that you're in the store. And then outside, it basically gives an idea of where they are also sitting. They are outside. So, of course, it does also show that they are sitting in front of the store, yes, but they are basically sitting outside, right? Because they are not in the store, they are outside of the store. All right, so now the sheep is where the grass. There we have the sheep and we have the grass. We need to say where we find the sheep, right? So we have in a farm, there we have a horse, a stable, and the sheep, right? So the question is, or the sentence is, the sheep is the grass. So we can say the sheep is on the grass, not in the grass, it's on the grass. And that is a preposition that tells us where the sheep is, right? So the sheep is on the grass. So on is our preposition that tells us where the sheep is or where something happens, right? Or where something is specifically, which is on the grass. All right. Oopsie. The balloons are where the cake. We need to say where the balloons are specifically in relation to the cake. So here we have our cake because it's someone's birthday party, and then we have the balloons, beautiful balloons, right? So we need to say the balloons are where the cake. It cannot be on top of because it's not on the cake, right? But it is higher than the cake, so we can then maybe say it is above the cake, right? It is above the cake. So the balloons are above the cake, not on top of because it's not on the cake, right? But we can then say that the balloons are above the cake, right? And it tells us where something is or where something happens, right? The balloons are above the cake. All right, let's do another one. All right, so here we have another picture, and we need to basically think of maybe something that we can see in this picture, right? The shoes are where by the door. We need to specifically say where the shoes are by the door. Is it in front of the door, next to the door, right? So here we have the door. Here we have a dog, the shoes over there, and a coat, right? So we need to specifically say where the shoes are in relation to the door. So we are going to say that the shoes are beside, not next to, beside the door, right? So the shoes are beside the door, not next to, beside. So the shoes are beside the door, right? And just basically to recap before we now continue, some of the words, right? So prepositions, right? So some words, they will either tell us where something is or it will tell us where something happens, right? And a few examples of prepositions, right? It is either above, behind, beside, like we basically just mentioned now, between, by, in front of, inside, next to, on, outside, and under. So those are but a common examples of prepositions, right? And prepositions that are words that tell us where something is or where something happens, right? And here we see that the shoes are beside the door, right? And the picture will also give us an indication of where either the shoes is or whatever is that they are asking. So beside is correct. All right, so now the next question says the dog is where the house, right? It's like the dog kennel. So where is the dog? So all we can say is that the cat is on the kennel or on the house, right? So which means that the dog is inside the house, right? So the dog is inside the house or inside of the doggy kennel, right? Whereas the cat is on top or on, right? So you can see if we look at the different pictures, and then it will basically give us different prepositions of where things are. Because here we have the cat that is on the roof or on the house. Maybe the ball is either next to or in front of the house. There we have a bird eating a worm, which is beside the house or beside the tree. Which means that, so basically, we are saying that the dog is inside of the house. The teacher is, right? Where the window. So there we see the window, and here we have the teacher. Where is the teacher? We need to give the best possible preposition to basically tell us where the teacher is or where something is happening. All right, so we can then say, like I say, here we have the window, and there we have the teacher. So we can say the teacher is by the window, right? So the teacher is by the window. All right, so now those are a few base prepositions, and we match it with the pictures, right? So that is a few base prepositions, and what we did was we matched it with the pictures, right? So you basically just had to say the common or the possible preposition that basically fits with that sentence, right? So now we're going to do a test. The people. So you need to look at the picture and then we answer the question. The people sit. Is it inside the store or the people sit outside the store? We need to choose the best possible preposition. All right. If we were to choose the correct preposition, we will say that the people sit outside the store. All right, so if you have outside, then well done. The shoes are, is it above the door or the shoes are beside the door? We need to choose the best possible preposition that fits in that sentence. The shoes are above the door or the shoes are beside the door. All right. So basically the shoes is not above the door, right? So it's not there on top somewhere. So we're going to say the shoes are beside the door. Same as saying next to, but it is beside. And if you have beside, then well done. The woman is it above the door or in front of the door? Above shows more like on top, right? Or she is in front of the door because here we see the door and then we see the lady that is standing in front of the door. So the woman is in front of the door. And in front of is correct. The fruit is it inside the box or the fruit is in front of the box? We need to say where the fruit is. Is it inside the box or is it in front of the box? All right, so the fruit is then inside the box. All right. So that is prepositions. And what we just now did was we selected the best prepositions to match the pictures, right? So now we are going to select the best preposition to complete sentences, right? Or to complete the sentence. And like I say, in the previous lesson or the lesson just now, we selected the best preposition to match the picture, right? So the picture told us either if the thing is under, on top, besides, by, and so on. So now we're going on to the next one. Select the best preposition to complete the sentence. All right. So some words, once again, it tells us where something is or where, oopsie, something happens, right? So some words either tell us where something is or where something happens, right? And we see that the common prepositions, yeah, so common examples of prepositions are above, it is behind, besides, between, by, in front of, inside, next to, on, outside, and under, right? So these are but a few common prepositions or examples of prepositions, right? And we said some words that tell us where something is or they tell us where something happens. It's either under, it is on, it is between, next to, and so forth. All right, let's go to the first sentence. My mother keeps her key where by the bed. We need to say where specifically she keeps the key. All right, so my mother keeps her key. And this person says beside her bed, right? Mrs. Zimmerman stopped her car, stopped the car, the railway station. So we can then say that she stopped the car in front of the railway station. Mr. Ellis keeps a picture of his family. Is it on the TV, under the TV, besides, next to, behind the TV? Mr. Ellis keeps a picture of his family. Are we saying on the TV or next to the TV? We just need to find the correct word. All right, so if we choose a word, or let's say a preposition that best suits that sentence, then we can say Mr. Ellis keeps a picture of her family or his family next to the TV. Oops. So we can say next to. So Mr. Ellis keeps a picture of his family next to the TV. So no, not inside, because we cannot keep something inside. We already did that one. Now we are going to next. All right. Which word makes more sense within the sentence? For the family picture, Vicky sat where her brother. Is it above her brother, behind her brother, beside her brother, between, by, in front of, inside, next to, on, outside, and under? Which word makes more sense in the sentence? For the family picture, Vicky sat where her brother. All right, so we can, if we were to choose our own word, right, then we can maybe say she sat either beside or she sat next to. So it's either beside her brother, or we can say next to her brother. Which plant seeds? We plant seeds the garden every spring. So we plant seeds in the garden every spring. All right, so then we can say we plant seeds in the garden every spring. In the garden. Gabby held her cold hands. She held her cold hands, and we can say above the fire, right? Above the fire. So we're going to put the above. Oops. So Gabby held her cold hands above the fire, which means that the fire is either on the floor, in a buck or something, right? And now she is keeping her hands over or above the fire in order to get warmth. So above is also a preposition. So above, above. All right. Let's go up. Let's go to the next. Our elevator is stuck. So our elevator is stuck, the second, third floor. We need to say where the elevator is stuck. Where are we? So the elevator is stuck. If we say the second and third floor, right, then it means that it is between both second floor as well as third floor, right? Because now they are telling us where. It's telling us where something is happening. So our elevator is stuck between the second and third floor. So this is between the second and third floors. In the winter, we sleep big, heavy blankets, right? So we sleep under, right? Because it is cold. So we sleep under big, heavy blankets. Big, heavy blankets. So in the winter, we sleep under big, heavy blankets. I put my mail in the mailbox this morning, right? Which means that we can then say in. So I put my letter in the mailbox this morning. And remember, some of the common prepositions is or are above, behind, beside, between, by, in front of, inside, next to, on, outside, and under. So I put my letter, we can say in the mailbox this morning. So in is an indication that tells us where something is. So in the mailbox this morning. All right, and we did those ones. Let's go to our test. We need to select the best preposition to complete the sentence. Which word makes more sense in the picture or in the sentence? She rides her horse under the lake in the morning or besides the lake in the morning. So we're going to choose beside. She rides her horse. Is it under the lake in the morning or beside the lake in the morning? So we said, oopsie, we said beside. Because I mean, if it's a lake, then we can't say under the lake, right? My mother keeps her keys. Is it beside her phone or outside of her phone? So we need to basically say or show or indicate where her mother keeps her key. Is it beside her phone or does she keep her keys outside her phone? All right, so then we can say she keeps her keys beside her phone. All right, and if you said beside, then well done. Someone dropped trash. Is it in front of the ground or on the ground? In front of the ground or on the ground? We need to say someone dropped trash in front of the ground or on the ground. Oopsie. All right, and if we choose the correct answer, we will say on the ground. So if you have on, then well done. Ron keeps his pet chipmunk. Is it in front of a small cage or inside a small cage? Ron keeps his pet chipmunk. Is, is it in front of a small cage or inside a small cage? We need to say where he keeps his pet chipmunk. Is it in front of or inside of a small cage? Let's try inside a small cage, right? He keeps it in the cage and then he does not run away. Our elevator is stuck, the second and third floor. So our elevator is stuck. Is it next to the second and third floor or between the second and third floor? All right, so we will say our elevator is stuck between the second and third floors. So well done. Mrs. Zimmerman stopped her car. Is it in front of the railroad station or inside the railway station? We need to choose the correct word that makes more sense within the sentences. So Mrs. Zimmerman stopped her car. Is it in front of the railroad station or she stopped her car inside the railroad station? All right, so we will choose in front of. So well done. There is a big chair. Is it next to the television or in the television? There's a big chair next to the television. There's a big chair. Or in the television, there's a big chair. Let's choose the first option. Next to, right? So it is next to. All right, so we're going back, right? So that is selecting the best preposition to match the pictures and then also selecting the best prepositions to complete the sentences, right? So now we're going on to the whiteboard and we're going to do these activities together. All right, so this is basically prepositions of place, right? And preposition of place, it basically tells us where you will find it, right? So where you will find something. So you'll either find something inside, on top, under, right? So that is the place. Where you find something, right, shows the place of the preposition. It's either inside or it's on top or it's outside, next to, right? It basically shows you the preposition of place, where something is taking place, right? All right, so now if we look at the first picture that we have, right? You need to look at the picture. Fill in the blanks with the correct preposition from the box. So the words that's in the box is at, on, in, near, behind, and under. So we need to look at the picture and then fill the blanks with the correct prepositions from the box. All right. So here we have a picture, right? We see the mouse, We see a cat, we see a dog, we see cake, right? So there's just a lot that we see happening within the picture. So the first question is the cat is where the table. So this cat is hiding. We need to give a specific place based on these words. It's in, it's at, on, in, near, behind, and under. So the cat is where by the table. Is the cat at, on, in, near, behind, or under? So we can say the cat is under. So under is the word that we're going to choose. So under the table. Now they want to know, where is the mouse? The mouse is, here we have the mouse, right? Is the mouse at the table or at the bowl, on the bowl, in, near, under? We need to say where this cat is. Not the cat, the rat is, or the mouse is. So the mouse is on the table. So on. So let's put on. Oopsie. On. There is a bowl where the table, right? So there's also a bowl on the table. And we can say that the bowl is it at the mouse? Or the mouse is way by the bowl? Is the mouse behind the bowl? Near the bowl? In, on, at the bowl? We need to say where this mouse is in relation to the bowl. So it seems like he is hiding, so we can say that the mouse is, let's just say, behind the bowl. The bowl. So it is hiding behind the bowl. Oopsie. Behind. There is cheese. And where do we find the cheese? It is in the bowl. The dog is where by the door? We need to say where the dog is. So he is hiding there behind the tree, not the tree, the door, sorry. So the dog is, we need to say where by the door it is. Let's erase that. So we can either say it is behind the door, beside the door, right? So that is positions. And we said some prepositions, they either tell us where, they tell us the place, right? And remember, when they tell us the place, then you don't have to specifically give the area like Athlone or Kailicha, right? You either need to say there, here, tomorrow, and so on, right? Now, if we go on to the next one, this is the last one, prepositions of place. And remember, place tells us where, and we need to select from these words. The butterfly is, if we look at the boxes over here, right, then we are going to answer the questions based on what we see. The butterfly is, there we have butterfly, is on the box or over the box. So the butterfly is on the box or over the box. Let's rather just say on the box. The books are, where do we find the books? Yes, at the bottom right. It is on the shelf. On the shelf. Let me just underline rather. So the books are on. All I'm going to do is I'm going to underline on the shelf. The last one. The woman is, where do we find the woman? There we find the woman, right? So the woman is it next to the house or behind the house, right? So we're going to say next to the house or next to, right? And these are all prepositions, right? Prepositions that either tell us where something is, where something is happening, right? These are prepositions. All right. All right, so grade two, that is now the end of our lesson on prepositions, right? And we had the opportunity to match the different pictures with the preposition, and then we selected the preposition that completed the sentences. All right, so that is it for our lesson on prepositions. You should have an amazing evening further.